Hey guys, it's TBGP, and today I'm talking about something that isn't The Sims. It's crazy. So I'm sure everyone has heard of all the goddamn life simulators coming out. There's like a new one every week at this point. And you know, I'm all for it. Literally, frick EA. That's it. Frick EA. So I'm all for all these life simulators. We got Paralyzed, we got Life by You, we got Enzoy, and then there's like a new one that's coming out that has like a bunch of people, or some people from like the Sims team working on it now, like for old people from the Sims team working on it now. So like there's that too. Like I said, there's a new life simulator all the time. Then there's a bunch of indie ones. Like we're in the age of the life simulator. And when it comes to life simulators, there's a lot of discourse about things because some people just want to blindly shill The Sims as the best life simulator. It might just be the best life simulator, but The Sims 4 surely ain't. So please get that off your plate before anything else. I'm gonna say this video is gonna be more ranty than like super structured because I'm just angry and quite upset and mad because of a lot of things, and I'm talking specifically about one life simulator. All the other ones will get videos eventually, but like this one is the one that's been bothering me the most because I actually keep up with this one. We're talking about Life by You and its seemingly biggest issue, which is not even as deep as people like to make it seem. The way the game looks and the way that the characters look. Oh, am I sick of this? Oh, I'm so freaking sick of this because I think people are actually freaking stupid and dumb. And I'm sorry if you came into this video thinking I'm gonna be very relaxed and nice and kind. Have you ever watched any of my videos? Like, I'm assuming you haven't, but just know I'm not the, you know, I like to be a little bit mean, a little bit overreactive, a little bit dramatic, you know, those are my things. So I'm just gonna warn you now before we get into the actual, you know, meat and potatoes of everything, that I'm not gonna sit here being nice, or anything like that. I'm only going to be nice to the developers, and that's it. Commenters and the people I'm specifically talking about, look, I'm not talking about everybody, I'm talking about a lot of the things that I see about it, and it makes me mad. So, yeah, onto the rant. The main issue I see people talking about freaking Life by You is the way that it looks. First of all, I want to say something. I want to say something to all of you who put those freaking comments like, oh my gosh, it's so ugly, I want the game to flop, it's so ugly, oh my gosh. They're not listening to us, they're not seeing this or that, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, buddy, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. They see every single comment. You think that the comments that this game is ugly, is never going to compare to The Sims, that it's never going to look as good as anything else, blah, 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 and such and such. You think those guys don't see it? Like, all the developers do see these comments. I'm sure they've internalized it. I'm sure that they stress out enough that their game is probably not going to do as well as The Sims. Do you think they don't know this? You think anyone doesn't know this? They see your comments. I'm sure they know that you guys think that their character creation is ugly, okay? I can guarantee that they know this. I'm not talking about constructive criticism either. Like, there's one thing being like, oh, you should fix this, this, and this. These are like things that need to be fixed. But overall, blah, 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 you know, keep it up, keep it the good work, you know, keep trying to improve. No, these people are straight up rude and nasty, saying that the game needs to flop because it's so ugly. No one's gonna buy the game because it's so ugly. And when I want to say this, it is not as ugly as these people say. I feel like I am in the minority when it comes to this because all I see is people thinking it's so ugly, and I'm just like, it's not though. Like, I've showed everybody in my house, and they're like, no, it's not that ugly. I don't see it being as ugly as these people say. People are overreacting. They genuinely are. Like, they're overreacting. The game's not that ugly. I hear people being like, they're the most beta, nasty looking models. You think they talk about moldy cheese the way that they're talking about these characters. They're not that bad. They don't look that bad. Like, sure, their anatomy is a bit weird and they do need to improve on it. But I'm not gonna sit here complaining, acting like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. It's so ugly. Oh my gosh. No, y'all are overreacting. And like, this is something I personally like to say, get a hobby instead of making these essay long things of why the game's gonna flop because it's ugly. Like, please, just go back to playing The Sims 4. I know you want to. And like I said, they do need to improve the anatomy, but they've also improved it since the first time they showed it. Like, their bodies were strangely shapen and they're still a bit weird now. But I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. Not to mention, I think there's like, they just look weird because you can customize them. I don't know if they didn't make like a distinct base model of what they wanted it to look like. They have like this weird, like kind of squishy looking one where your shoulders are very squished and all that kind of stuff. But you can also fix that. They have sliders to make your shoulders wider, your legs wider, more apart, your long arms longer. longer, your legs longer. So obviously you can fix these issues if you put the time into it. I've never played the game yet, so it just looks like that from at least the video that they recently released, because the lady made her like character in the video, and oh my gosh, it's not shaped weird. It doesn't look that weird. Like, some of the animations are still weird in the game, but like I said, I'm not talking about that. And that goes into a whole nother problem, which I'll talk about in a minute. But like, the lady made her character and it looked good. Like, it looked proportioned, or at least mostly proportioned, that you can get from a 3D model. And I think it looks good. I don't think it looks that bad. And the game kind of reminds me of Disney Dreamlight Valley. So I don't think it's that ugly. And yes, I think that they can improve on the graphics, and they probably will. It's just not something they're going to probably be able to get done during early access because of a reason I'm going to bring up in just a minute. I'm not a game developer, nor am I a 3D model. I have Modeler. I know very little about 3D modeling. I know more about it than I do freaking, the coding. Oh gosh, don't talk about my coding endeavors. I don't know what the freak I'm doing. But I know more about 3D modeling than I do coding. I've tried the 3D model. I'm not good at it, but I've tried. And I also know some of the basics of, you know, human anatomy, because I do draw. Am I the best at drawing? Absolutely not, but I draw, so I do look at human anatomy. And what I want to say is that trying to fix this before the early access comes out, like fix it more than they've already done, is probably a death wish and a let's break the game's animations and all this kind of stuff, because the animation skeleton has to be changed. They have to make an entirely new model and change all this stuff before our early access, just to make you prudes happy. And I don't think they're gonna be able to do something like that. But does that mean that they won't do it in the long run? No, they're probably going to have a very large update eventually, which is going to be, yeah, graphics improval. And people who are like, yeah, I think it's impossible. They're not going to improve the graphics just yet. No, not just yet, but they're going to improve the graphics. People think it's impossible to overhaul a game's graphics. They need to look into other games, because other games have done it. I know a prime example being Final Fantasy XIV. They improved the graphics of that game, like, I don't remember how many odd years after it released, but they improved it and it looks better than it did before. So obviously you can overhaul your graphics, and I don't see it as a big of a deal to overhaul their graphics eventually after, you know, the game releases and they start getting better, more constructed feedback instead of character ugly, I hate game. So yeah, there's that. And, you know, last but not least, this is not going to be the longest video, because I don't want to sit here ranting about stupidity, people's stupidity on the internet for too long. But, seriously, the game's not that ugly. Y'all are overreacting. And please, I'm begging you, please stop saying it looks like early 2000s video game models, because you don't know what you're talking about. I grew up playing 2000s video games. I love the Xbox 360, so I definitely know the era of video games that these people like to talk about. And I'm gonna just put in a slideshow or something of a bunch of different games from like 2000 to 2010 and just show you that you're off your rocker. First of all, I'm not saying every single game is ugly, and of course there are some outliers who were like absolutely gorgeous games for its time, who had better, you know, graphics and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna say a game from 2009 that I absolutely love and will take up for the rest of my life. It's surprisingly, no, it's not The Sims 3. It's Dragon Age Origins. That game has disgustingly strange proportions. Like, people in that game just look weird. But if you're like, oh, they're more proportionate than Life by You, yes, they are, but they all use a standard one single model that isn't customizable. But also, the freaking dwarves are shaped the strangest thing on this planet. They got orangutan arms in Dragon Age Origins. And that's like 2009. Obviously not everyone's good at anatomy. Also, Dragon Age Inquisition is right there too. Their anatomy is so freaking whack in that game. I don't want to talk about it. Their anatomy is freaking bad in that game too. Their models are just so strange. So obviously not every game is gonna have perfect anatomy, and I don't know what you're expecting. The Sims 4 doesn't even have perfect anatomy. Like, I hate the anatomy in that game. Y'all are like, it's so innovative. You can make any body shape. Yeah, not really. I can't make my body shape in the game. So obviously it's not all inclusive. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that in Life by You, but the way that it looks, I might actually be able to. Like, who freaking knows? I might. So we'll see. And I'm just gonna say, Life by You is a guaranteed buy for me. I'm gonna buy the game. I'm gonna play it on my channel. If you're mad about it, I'm sorry. If you're not, good. Tell me your opinions on the whole ugly debacle in my comments. I plan on making another video about Life by You, hopefully before it releases, because I'm gonna play it when it releases. So obviously, we just hope. If not, I'll just throw all my things into one video about Life by You. You know, that'll be a hoot. That'll be a half. And tell me if you want any more videos on the other life simulator games, and you know, maybe your opinions on those. I know I gotta make an Inzoi video and a Sims 5 video. Those have been on my big back burner for like 30 years. Paralyzed will be coming soon. But for now, sorry about the rant, and yeah, I'm still mad. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was TBGP. Tell me your opinions in the comments. I will see you lot next time, and bye-bye.